Coming up this week, EVs at the Shanghai Auto Show, the Audi A6 e-tron concept, Cadillac rolls out the Lyric SUV, and more. Hello, friends, and welcome to episode 61 of the EV Resource Podcast. I'm Zach Hurst, and each week I bring you the latest EV news, information, and answer your questions about electric vehicles. If this is your first time here, start now by subscribing and clicking the notifications bell so you don't miss a thing going forward. Before we get started with the news this week, I want to thank our podcast partner, Titan Auto & Tire in Moseley, Virginia, for their support. Titan is one of the very few independent shops in Central Virginia that are qualified to work on EVs, and from hybrids to Hummers, they fix everything. For more information and to schedule an appointment for your vehicle, go to TitanAutoTire.com. That's TitanAutoTire.com. So this week is going to be a shorter show, likely. I am exhausted for the best reason. I just got back from GritCon 2021 business convention here in Richmond. So definitely a shout out to Ron and all the folks over at GritCon. Absolutely an amazing weekend. I learned so much that I plan on actually applying a lot to EV Resource and to this podcast specifically, things to add value, to make it a better experience for all of you. One of those is probably not rambling a whole lot. So let's get to the news. This week, actually, the Shanghai Auto Show took place, and there were a ton of EVs from big to small, all showing their stuff to the crowds of people that attended. So I'm going to go through a small list actually that TechCrunch put together and highlight a few that stood out. The BYD Han is a car I've talked about before on the podcast, although it has been a while. I believe it was all the way back in episode number 30 when I was talking about Tesla's Chinese competitors. Named after China's Han Dynasty, the luxury electric sedan series launched sales last July. The long-range Han EV can go for about 375 miles, and the company claims that its vehicle's Blade battery pack is safer than traditional battery packs. And I've showed a video before on the podcast, and it might have even been episode 30. I'd have to go back and check specifically. But you can search for it on YouTube, BYD Blade battery. They show it being punctured safely without any kind of thermal runaway. There's no fire. And honestly, I think that safer technology is pretty awesome. The Chinese automotive group Geely took up a lot of the Shanghai Auto Show floor this year with several of its brands on display. Polestar, Volvo, which should be familiar to a lot of you, Lync Co, Geometry, and the new Zeeker brand all brought EVs to show off. Geometry, which is Geely's mass market brand, launched a new extended range version of its Geometry A vehicle. The so-called Geometry A Pro comes with a 150 kilowatt-hour battery and can travel 372 miles on a single charge. The brand launched in 2019 and has since unveiled 3 models. The Model A and Model C are on sale to the Chinese market, although they do have plans to export the Geometry C later this year to select global partners. Lync & Company unveiled their newest plug-in hybrid variant of the Lync & Company 5. The company also showcased the Scalable Product Architecture, SPA, for the first time that will be used by future Lync & Company products that will be unveiled later this year with a fully electrified powertrain. And of course, the EV performance spin-off of Volvo, which is owned by Geely, Polestar, displayed the Polestar 1 hybrid electric and the all-electric Polestar 2. And it was the 2021 special edition in matte gold that got a lot of attention. Now, granted, this is a hybrid, not an all-electric vehicle, but the special version is worth noting. It has a lightweight body made from carbon fiber reinforced polymer, twin rear electric motors with genuine torque vectoring between the two, and many high-performance components. The powertrain itself actually produces 619 horsepower and 738 pound-feet of torque and a purely electric driving range of 60 miles based on the WLTP standard. And of course, Volvo, the Swedish brand that is also owned by Geely, brought its first all-electric vehicle to the Shanghai Auto Show, the XC40 Recharge. And on a side note, I actually recently caught an XC40 Recharge charging here in Richmond, actually owned by somebody from Charlottesville, so just 80 miles up the road. And honestly, I gotta say, for an SUV, it looks pretty nice. It caught my eye. I immediately knew that it was a Volvo, so they did their branding real well. And even if it wasn't sitting at an EVgo charging station, I'd still know it was an EV just by looking at it, because of the front, the grille is completely different. It's a good looking car. I liked it. Zeeker, which is a brand actually that I was not familiar with, they brought out their first EV called the Zeeker 001. And what is Zeeker exactly? Well, they say it's a combination of Z, as in Generation Z, and geek. So Z, geek, Zeek. Zeeker said its cars will be sold online and through experience centers across China, with plans also to eventually expand to Europe and North America. The Zeeker 001 comes with dual electric motors, delivering 566 pound-feet of torque and allowing it to accelerate from 0 to 60 miles an hour in less than 4 seconds. The car has a claimed range of 434 miles on a single charge. The Zeeker brand says it plans to bring 5 cars to market in the next 5 years, all of which will be based on Geely Holdings' pure electric SEA architecture. Mercedes was also at the auto show. The German automaker showed off several vehicles at the Shanghai Auto Show, notably the EQS, which we did talk about, and the new EQB. Both of these all-electric vehicles are just a part of the company's growing EQ brand. Now, the EQS we talked about last week, so if you want to know all about it, you'll have to go back to show number 60. But the EQB, which looks a lot like the GLB, especially the interior, will launch in China this year, they say. A global variant will be produced later on in Hungary for Europe, and then the launch here in the US market should be in 2022. And I'll talk a lot more about the EQB when I've got more time in probably a different episode. Chinese automaker NIO revealed the interior of their flagship sedan at the auto show, giving us more details on the ET7, which was initially revealed in January. The interior comes in 3 earth tone color schemes: storm gray, sand brown, and edelweiss white. The company dropped some hints about possible exterior colors as well, such as sunrise beige, luminous orange, and arctic green, in addition to the established cloud white, star gray, deep black, and southern star. NIO is expected to begin production of the ET7 in the coming months, with a launch scheduled for Q1 2022. SAIC GM Wuling Automotive Company, a joint venture between SAIC Motor Corp and General Motors, and Luzhou Wuling Motors Company, showed off their latest vehicle, the budget-friendly Hongguang Mini EV that costs less than $5,000. The Wuling Hongguang Mini EV, and I'm probably butchering that name, is one of the most popular EVs in China this year, with more than 57,000 units sold in February alone. And at $4,230, it's not hard to see why. A name I don't often mention on the podcast yet, Toyota, made some noise saying that they are going to introduce 15 all-electric vehicles, including 7 Toyota BZ branded models globally by 2025. The new BZ brand debuted at the Shanghai Auto Show. The Toyota BZ4X is technically at this point still just a concept, but its importance shouldn't be disregarded. The concept, which was revealed at the Shanghai Auto Show, kicks off an all-electric lineup for Toyota. Their BZ brand stands for Beyond Zero, and they're going to have a dedicated underlying platform that can be used with multiple variations in terms of size and design. The company says that it was difficult to prepare such a wide range of choices by itself, so it's jointly developing the series with partners who boast expertise in various fields. This is something Toyota has done historically for many decades, working with other brands to jointly develop a car. Toyota called on partner Subaru to develop the BZ4X, BYD, Daihatsu, and Suzuki are other partners in the BZ line. And to the point with BYD, actually Toyota announced a partnership with BYD for their batteries. So will BYD be the sole provider of all of the batteries for Toyota vehicles? That would be huge if Toyota finally gets off their high horse of not plugging in. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just get on Google and search for Toyota PR and their marketing campaigns where they choose not to plug in. They have bashed electric vehicles for easily the last 10 years in their marketing, and I think it's kind of ironic and kind of funny at this point that now they are making the shift, or at least they're saying they're going to, and make electric vehicles. So Toyota plans to produce the Toyota BZ4X in Japan and China, and said it hopes to bring worldwide sales of the model by the middle of next year. Volkswagen used the Shanghai Auto Show to reveal its third electric vehicle in its ID brand, and this one is designed specifically for the Chinese market. The Volkswagen ID.6 will be available in two versions, the ID.6 Cross, which will be manufactured in the north of China, and the ID.6X in the southern part of the country. The ID.6 is Volkswagen's most spacious ID branded model with room for up to 7 people. The vehicle, which is available in 4 configurations, has a range of up to 365 miles on China's NEDC cycle. All right, so I have been recording bits and pieces of this literally almost every single day since Sunday. I started Sunday, recorded a little bit Monday, Tuesday. It's now Wednesday. I'm done. So I'm not going to do anything else for this episode. Just going to get it out there for y'all. So, yeah, if you like any other podcast episode and you want more like that, then please like, subscribe, follow all of the things on social media. Normally it's not quite this short. Normally it's not quite this bad. So forgive me, working a full-time job, a part-time job, and doing this along with 3 kids and a wife. Finding time has not been my strong suit. So my apologies. This is not my best work. You guys deserve better than that, and I do recognize that. So sorry, but yeah, I'm going to end it with that. This coming week, the magazine will come out on Saturday. I hope to finish the next podcast and have that out at the normal time, which is 2 p.m. on Sunday. And for those of you who have stuck with me through to this point, thank you so much. I'll catch you next time.